What if the story we thought had ended was never truly over? What if the man who walked away in silence was not gone at all? Ty Borden was the heart of Heartland. And when fans saw him leave, they believed it was the last goodbye. But season 16 began with whispers, with theories, with a single burning question. Could Ty still be alive? Asterisk, the memory of Ty's farewell is still raw in every Heartland fan's heart. In season 14, the ranch was shaken when tragedy struck. Ty's passing was not just another plot twist. It was a moment that redefined the entire show. Amy's world crumbled in an instant. She was left to raise her daughter Lyndy without the man she had dreamed of growing old with. Jack, the steady hand of the family, tried to stay strong, but even he could not hide the sorrow in his eyes. The ranch that once echoed with laughter suddenly felt quieter, heavier, touched by a grief that lingered in every corner. For the viewers, this was more than just a storyline. It was a goodbye to a character who had grown with them for years. Ty was not just Amy's partner, he was family, a friend, a healer, and a reminder of the strength it takes to change one's life for the better. His absence left a gap that could never be filled, yet even in that moment of loss, questions began to form. The farewell felt too sudden, too final, and too heavy for a show built on hope. Fans noticed the way Amy held back her emotions, as if some part of her refused to believe that Ty was truly gone. The silence in the family carried a mystery, a sense that maybe this story was not finished after all. The farewell became the spark of something bigger. Across forums, fan pages, and conversations, whispers grew louder. Could it be that Ty's story was not over? Was there a chance that his absence was not the end, but the beginning of a hidden truth? And so, the legend of Ty Borden's possible return was born. Asterisk, when season 16 arrived, something felt different. The story opened with calmness, yet behind that calm, many viewers noticed details that did not feel ordinary. A shadow in the background, a moment of silence in Amy's eyes, and the way the camera lingered on the ranch gates longer than usual. To some, it was just style. To others, it felt like a hidden message. The most powerful clue was Amy herself. She spoke of moving forward, of strength and resilience, yet her voice carried a quiet hesitation, as if part of her believed Ty's journey was not truly over. The writers framed these moments with care, leaving just enough room for questions. Could he still be alive? Could the man who once rode across the fields with her return in ways no one expected? Viewers paused episodes, rewound scenes, and analyzed every word. They pointed to the photograph of Ty that appeared in the background. The lighting made it look alive, almost glowing, as though he was still present in spirit. One fan theory even claimed that Amy's dreams held secret visions of him, hinting that Ty might not be gone, only hidden. And then there was the silence. Scenes where conversations ended quickly, where Jack looked away instead of speaking, where Lyndy asked questions about her father, but received answers that felt incomplete. Silence became the loudest clue of all. It suggested there was more to the story than what was shown on the screen. Together, these small signs built something powerful. They turned grief into suspicion, and suspicion into hope. Fans who once cried for Ty now held on to the belief that his return was possible. A spark of mystery spread across the Heartland community. Every episode of season 16 carried weight, not only for what was spoken, but for what was left unsaid. Asterisk. The most powerful idea that grew from these clues was the belief that Ty might not have died at all. Fans began to question the very foundation of the story. What if the tragedy that broke Amy's heart was never the end, but the beginning of something hidden? One theory suggests that Ty's illness and sudden collapse were only part of a larger plan. Some believe he was taken away for treatment in secret, kept hidden for his own protection. Others imagine that Ty was caught in a dangerous situation that forced him to disappear, leaving Amy and his family behind to keep them safe. This theory gained strength because Heartland has always been about resilience, survival, and second chances. Ty's character was built on transformation. He went from a troubled boy with a broken past to a man of honor, a healer, and a father. If anyone could fight his way back against impossible odds, it would be him. Another layer of the theory connects to the way Heartland often shows nature as a silent witness. The mountains, the fields, the endless skies, all symbols of freedom and rebirth. Fans believe that if Ty was alive, he might have found shelter in those same landscapes, waiting for the right moment to return, healed and whole. The survival theory became more than just speculation. It became a hope that Amy's story was not about living without him, but about finding him again, a hidden path back to love, a second chance at the life that was stolen too soon. And in every whispered conversation between fans, the same question kept rising. If Ty is alive, when will he return? Asterisk, as the survival theory spread, the Heartland community lit up with energy. Social media became the campfire where fans gathered, sharing their hopes and doubts. Every post, every comment carried the same heartbeat, the belief that Ty's story was not finished. Some fans wrote long threads, breaking down each episode of Season 16 frame by frame. They pointed out the smallest details. A picture on the wall, a pause in Amy's words, a quiet glance from Jack. To them, each of these moments was more than writing. It was a message, secret waiting to be discovered. Others created fan edits that spread quickly across platforms, videos that placed Ty back beside Amy, riding across the ranch or holding Lyndy in his arms. For many viewers, these edits were more than entertainment. They were a way to keep him alive in their hearts. The conversations were filled with emotion. Some fans cried out of longing, saying they could not imagine Heartland without Ty. Others argued fiercely that his story was complete. Graham Wardle's decision must be respected. Yet even in disagreement, one thing united them. For the character who had shaped the very soul of the show, and as more voices joined, the buzz grew louder. Fan pages turned into gathering places where hope and grief lived side by side. Each new episode of Season 16 was not only watched for its story, but also searched for hidden clues. For many, the question was no longer if Ty was alive. But when the truth would finally come out, the community's passion became a force on its own. It showed the world that Ty Borden was not just a character. He was a part of people's lives. A symbol of love, loss, and the dream of return. Asterisk if Ty were to return in Season 16. The story of Heartland would be changed forever. His presence would not simply be about one character coming back. It would shift the entire balance of the ranch, the family, and the heart of the series. For Amy, the return of Ty would be nothing short of a storm. She has spent seasons learning to live without him, raising Lyndy with strength she never thought she had. Seeing him alive would bring joy, but it would also bring conflict. Could she trust the man who disappeared from her life, even if the reason was beyond his control? Could she open her heart again after so much pain? For Lyndy, it would be the miracle she never dared to dream. She has grown up with memories and stories of her father, but to finally feel his arms around her would change the way she sees her, family, and her future. A child's innocence could turn that reunion into one of the most emotional moments the series has ever given. Jack, the Rock of Heartland, would face his own test. He has carried the weight of the family through every trial, yet Ty was more than a grandson-in-law to him. I was a son. His return would fill the silence that Jack has carried inside, but it might also reopen wounds that had just begun to heal, and for the ranch itself, Ty's presence would restore a sense of completeness. Heartland has always been about family, love, and the power of second chances. Bringing Ty back would honor those themes in the most dramatic way possible. It would remind the audience that no loss is final, that hope can rise even from the deepest sorrow. Season 16 would no longer be only about moving forward without him. It would become the season of reunion, redemption, and the courage to begin again. Asterisk. As the excitement of the theory grows, the line between reality and hope becomes harder to see. On one side stands the truth that fans already know. Graham Wardle, the actor behind Ty, chose to leave the series. He spoke openly about his decision, saying it was time to follow a different path in life. His words carried honesty and respect, yet they also left a shadow of sadness across the audience. On the other side stands the dream that refuses to die. Fans cannot let go of Ty because his presence shaped more than a story. He was the symbol of love that survived hardship. He was the image of redemption and family. Too many, his absence feels like an unfinished sentence, a song cut short. Heartland has always balanced between what is real and what is possible. The writers aim to honor the truth, yet the fans continue to build bridges of hope. They believe in miracles and twists, in the idea that television can bring back what life takes away. That belief is what keeps the theory alive, week after week. Season after season, the truth may say, Ty is gone, but the heart of the audience says he is still with them. He rides in every dream Amy has. He walks in every memory Jack recalls. He lives in every laugh that Lyndy carries. In this way, Ty remains alive, even without a script to guide him. So the question is not only about whether Ty will return on screen. The deeper question is how long fans will keep his spirit alive within themselves. Reality may close one door, but hope keeps another open. And as long as that hope exists, Ty Borden will never truly be gone. Heartland has always been. More than a television show, it is a reflection of family, of love, of pain, and of the strength to rise again. Ty Borden's journey may have ended on screen, yet his presence continues to live inside every moment of the series. For Amy, he remains the love that shaped her life. For Lyndy, he is the father she will always carry in her heart. For Jack and the entire family, he is the man who proved that change is possible, that broken lives can be healed with patience and care. And for the fans, Ty is something even greater. He is the reason many fell in love with Heartland in the first place. He is the reminder that hope never fades, even when the story tells us it is over. His legacy does not end with an episode. It continues every time someone believes in his return. Every time someone holds on to the dream that love can conquer loss. So whether Ty Borden rides again on screen or only in memory, his spirit will always remain a part of Heartland. He is alive in every field, every mountain, and every star that shines above the ranch. And as long as the fans keep him alive in their hearts, the story of Ty Borden will never truly end. Asterisk.